2 of the Scheid Diesel Extravaganza, and we've got 2 great Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League classes on tap for today. Brandon Simon struggled by his standards on night 1 with a 9th and 10th place finish in his 2 vehicles, but continues to dominate the Pro Stock class with a 32-point lead in the Loud and Heavy tractor. The Pro Stock diesel trucks are in a great points battle with 4 trucks within 8 points of the lead. Who'll gain the upper hand on the class? Find out now. Welcome to Lyons, Indiana, with the Lucas Oil Scheid Diesel Extravaganza presented by General Tire. Ken Stout and Leslie Mears here to call all the action from Wagler Motorsports Park. And as you can see, we have a packed house here. Some of the best truck and tractors on the planet out here. But one thing they all have in common, they're all burning diesel.
And it's interesting, it looks like those are low-hanging clouds, but what that is, that's extra diesel smoke where these guys are getting warmed up and ready for action. So exciting to be here for the 25th anniversary of the Scheid Diesel Extravaganza. And of course, it started as a single-day all-diesel event that has expanded now into a 2-day format. You've got truck and tractor pulling during the evening, drag racing during the day, a manufacturer's midway. It's a spectacular event.
As the Funkin' Groovin' gets ready to go, let's talk about these trucks, Leslie.
Yeah, they weigh in at 7,800 pounds, and they're limited to a 3.6-inch intake on the turbo. They run diesel fuel only. They've got a limited pump out here, and the biggest thing for this class is they've got those cut tires that are 18 inches wide.
Some small, relatively soft hops, but a great looking hook here right off the bat. 311.13. He is the test puller. He'll know if he wants to drop it or keep it. This is the Silver Series, by the way, for the Pro Stock diesel trucks.
And it's just a small step down from the Champions Tour, and the path of their pulls is just not quite as wide as it is on the Champions Tour. And he picks a great line. He had some good ground speed on that pass as well, kicking up a ton of dirt. And that's the thing about this Lion soil here is they added some new dirt earlier in the year, so it's going to be a little bit different from what pullers have experienced previously.
Here's a look at the pulling order, and Ryan Funk, of course, kicking things off there, not chasing points here in the Silver Series in the Pro Stock diesel truck category. And we talked about it in the tease off the top of the show with the top 4 trucks being separated by just a few points. So Ryan looking to disturb that a little bit if he can and get up onto the podium. We'll see how that shakes down, but the 4 players are still inside the category here as we continue on. Up next will be Andrew Grove and Bad Timing. He should be a great benchmark because he won this event just one day ago at the first hook here, 310.03, and that certainly makes that 311 out of the Funkin' Groovin' truck look very strong.
And here's a look at our points so far in this chase. It's going to be Brady Ingram, the young gun, in the Scheid diesel truck, his first full year piloting that truck, and he is leading in the points, closely followed by the ranch hand and Carl Butler. Crosswired currently sits in third, just 6 points back, followed by Penn Farms and War Machine.
John Hump coming up here next in the truck called Causin' Trouble. Ohio puller. And man, you could hear that Chevy just grunting all the way down through there. 309 and 98, so a 309, a 310, a 311 out of the first 3 trucks.
So tight in this group. And you also heard a marked difference in the engine too, and that's just the difference between the Cummins and the Duramax. They definitely have a lower grumbling Bumblebee sound in those Duramaxes.
Up next will be John Mans and the Crazy X grabbed a first place on top of the podium at Shelbyville. Wow, and he's looking to grab a first place here. How about that? 3:16 and 23 as he goes charging by the leader by more than 5 feet.
Why day one wasn't so great here at Lions. We also have to go back to Shelbyville day 2 where he picked up a second place finish. 1 year ago at Shelbyville, he picked up a win. He was on the podium here at Lions 1 year ago. And so this truck just runs tough. And we don't see it a lot on the complete Silver Series circuit because he does run with our regional group on the East Coast Tractor Puller circuit and doesn't have a lot of time to run the full circuit. If he did, he would definitely be a player for sure.
Up next will be Ivan Harville out of Stewart, Illinois. Did not make all the pulls here this year, has missed 3 of them, in fact, and consequently comes in here a little bit deeper in the points, but another very strong truck. And the distance here for him is 298.06. So a little bit short. I mean, and he's been up pounding around inside of the top 5 the past couple of events. So he missed it just a little bit here today. We're off and running here with our Pro Stock Diesel trucks and Lions, Indiana. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more great pulling action.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by General Tire, anywhere is possible. Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source. And by Lucas Oil, keep that engine alive.
And we're back here at the Lucas Oil Scheid Diesel Extravaganza presented by General Tire. Wagler Motorsports Park, Lions, Indiana. Watch the Pro Stock Diesel trucks go at it. Just a couple of hooks left in the season for him here. And Jeremy Beats with the Dirty Deer trying to get it done with that Duramax, but we'll miss it at 295 and 95.
And he definitely picked a spot on the track that hasn't been used yet. All of our previous pullers have been very left of center because that's where they see the groove is. And so that's where they put the trucks.
Stoney Hargett coming up here next, finished inside of the top 5, just 1 round to go, and Leslie had a chance to speak to him.
Well, the War Machine is just the latest pulling vehicle for you here, Stoney. And, you know, you've driven this for the last couple years. What do you think is probably the most important thing that you have to do right in the Pro Stock class to be successful?
It's interesting that the Pro Stock is where you start having to become a little bit more of a driver. You've got the horsepower, and you got to figure out how to put it to the ground. And that has a lot to do with how we drive. And I'm still in the learning curve where that's concerned, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you said it's only been 2 years with this truck, and you know you really started to catch on this year. Have you gotten more passes?
Yeah, definitely so. Of course, last year was a shortened year. You know, we got 5 runs, I think, with the Silver Series all year last year, and then we started in this year, and I was trying to figure out where we were all from last year, and I think we started figuring a little of it out at Shelbyville last week, and had a good run last night. We were pleased with where we finished considering the class of trucks we were with.
Yeah, at Shelbyville last year, he actually finished up on the podium in 2nd place. So these guys are getting this sorted out as quickly as they can. It's a very tough category. And unfortunately, he's going to miss it here by a good bit at 294 and 55.
I think one neat thing to note is that, you know, 2 years ago he was driving a truck with DOT tires. Now he's driving a truck with cut tires, and it makes a huge difference on your takeoff with your whole shot, and then of course how you drive, and so that's definitely something to adjust to.
Leslie had a chance to speak with our next competitor who put together back-to-back podiums at Goshen and Shelbyville.
The beauty of a two-day hook is that you get a second chance, Matt, and you're going to get that tonight. I know you've been watching the track, and so how do you feel about your chances tonight?
Well, I hope it's a whole lot better than it was last night. The track's way better tonight. They've worked it deep and stuff there. It's going to be a decent track, I'm thinking, tonight. So pick the right line and have a good chance, I hope.
You know, we've talked a lot about, you know, the fact that you guys are making so much more horsepower and, you know, you've got to really work it off the line. Is that something that you're extra cautious and that really kind of got you on edge now?
Yeah, it's just fine line. I mean, just quarter inch on the throttle makes a difference between making a good hole shot and starting something bad going there, you know. So it's a fine line there between doing a might win and you might come in loser.
You know, he had a great 2020 season here at Lyons as he finished up on the podium both rounds. In fact, won night one and finished up third on night two. Unfortunately, missed it a little bit one day ago. Wow, and he's really going to miss it here. It just sounded like it was in the wrong gear. I wonder if he made a mistake there because it definitely tugged that thing down underneath the turbo right away at 238.
When unfortunately, I think that he was still in the throttle past the 100-foot mark, and you can see how frustrated he is with that. And rarely do we see that out of Matt Penn. You know, he's top-notch competitor, so there must be something really wrong with that truck.
Yeah, I mean, he ended up in a points tie for the lead, you know, a year ago in the shortened season. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, absolutely a seasoned veteran, very good at what he does, as is this guy, Carl Butler. And the ranch hand comes in here second in the points. Of course, that guy that I was talking about, Matt Penn, was tied with for the points lead last year is Carl Butler, 307.09. I mean, a solid effort here, but certainly not what he was hoping for to get up there into the top three.
And it seems like drivers are really struggling to get a good hole shot. Look at all the steering that the ranch hand driver has to do here to keep it in a straight line. It is just wild and wily out there. And that really detracts from your momentum and getting your ground speed up when you have to fight it that hard off the starting line. And they're also hopping a little bit. And I think that that is partially because everybody's choosing the same spot to take off from when they back up to the sled.
And there's a look at your top three with plenty of great trucks yet to come. And we welcome you back here as the sun has set at Wagner Motorsports Park, the Lucas Oil Scheid Diesel Extravaganza presented by General Tire. Up next is Kurt Hazley, and the Off Constantly had a great pull just one day ago, finished up in second place. Man, it looked like a great hook there, Leslie, but unfortunately will not yield the numbers.
That's crazy because that looked so good. You know, I started kind of shaking my head like, man, he's got it. About halfway through the run, it looked like he had really good ground speed and he was gaining way, but it seemed once that box topped off, it put the brakes on him fast and cut his run short.
Up next, Norman Newswanger and the Chapter 11. And he will burn that one in at 309 and 73. Just misses sneaking by the Causing Trouble truck by about 3 inches.
And we'll take a ride on board the sled here. And that answers my question. I really wondered after that last pass by Kurt Hazley, who is a seasoned veteran, if maybe this left side of the track was really worn out. But with a pass right after his run of 309, it shows that it's still over there. And it's really going to go back to what Matt Penn was talking about. It's going to go back to driving style. You know, are these guys going to be able to get it up off the line and running really quickly to get that ground speed that they need to power through once the box tops off at the top end of the run? I think that's the real question here.
Dustin Beeler coming up next with the Diggin' Deep truck. He also finished on the podium just one day ago. Well, you can see him working that steering wheel, or maybe the front tires were working the steering wheel as they were trying to get some grip there. Pretty cool to watch these trucks really working. And as you might imagine, any slop in that front end at all will certainly be detrimental. He puts together a solid effort at 3:06 and 30, and now followed up by Cole Faber in the Rumor. Working that throttle just a little bit from left to right, just a little bit, but it really straightened itself out nicely and goes 3:11 and 17, sneaks by Ryan Funk in the Funkin' Groovin' by less than a half an inch to get into the top 3.
I think the difference here is he's got a little bit of a hop off the starting line, but by the 50-foot mark, he's in the throttle all the way. And look how fast his run is. Once that box tops off, he's got enough ground speed built up to power through those last few feet of hops to get that little bit of extra distance that he needed to put himself up there in the top 3.
Pretty crazy as Brad Ingram comes up here, driving the Scheid diesel, and he is our points leader. Leslie spoke with him.
It's a replacement driver today for the Scheid diesel truck, so Brady can't make it. We heard he won his baseball tournament, so that's the positive here. But Brad, you haven't been driving this truck all year, so is it going to be different for you to step in?
Oh yeah, it's going to be different, and you know, you couldn't get to a bigger show than here at the Scheid Diesel Extravaganza. So yeah, all nerves are pretty well on edge. But yeah, Brady won his ball game, so fingers crossed he makes it here tonight in time. But looks like I may have to drive it.
Well, and you know, you said that there are nerves, but there's so many other moving pieces to this event. So I mean, do you even have the capacity for nerves now?
I think I've wore all of them out today.
So in the truck, you know, what's going to be the thing that you're going to be concentrating on to keep yourselves up in those points to give yourselves a shot at this title?
Just making a good pass. There's, I think, 18, 20 trucks in the class, and any one of them could win on any night.
And finally settles that one in at 3:04 and 87. That will probably cost him the lead to Carl Butler in the ranch hand, whose 3:07.09 was only a couple of points behind him, and he also has a truck in between them at 3:06.30. So this hunt for the championship is absolutely on.
And this is a huge pull right here for Keith Witt in the crosswired, as he's just 6 points behind that Scheid diesel truck.
All right, it looks like Keith is going to get past Brad Ingram in the Scheid diesel truck, but will not have enough to get past Carl Butler and the ranch hand, who's still there at 3:07.09. So kind of a battle inside of the battle here, if you will. People trying to win this event, people also trying to win this championship. There's a look at your top 3. And we're back here at the Lucas Oil Scheid Diesel Extravaganza presented by General Tire. The top 3 is tight. Between second and third, less than a half an inch. It is on, and one truck yet to go here. Carl Ankelwick's coming up, living on the edge. A beautiful looking ride. And unfortunately, he's going to be a good bit short of what he's going to need to steal the win here as the last hook in the category at 296 and 90.
Got a little loose about the 200-foot mark, and that's when those rear tires really started to hop and started to load and unload, and that's where he really lost his traction.
So once again, an incredible class here as we are getting down to the final couple of hooks. Super Clean's going to give us a poll recap, and we'll go back and take a look at the Funkin' Groove, and right off the bat, Ryan Funk came out here, put 3, 11, and 13 on the board as the first hook of the category and gave everybody a number to chase.
And then here comes John Mans in that Ford Square Body, just barreling down the track and putting up a huge number.
And then finally, Cole Faber in the Rumor came out here, put 3, 11, and 17 on the board and snuck by Ryan Funk by less than a half an inch. Exciting stuff. Let's go to the podium.
What a big night for you, John. You've been trying to get to this point for 7 years. What's the feeling?
It's awesome. I can't even explain it. 7 years ago we started coming here, and it was a dream of mine to win at Scheid, Saturday night especially, and this is awesome. It doesn't get any better than this.
So I have to ask, you were early on in the class. Did you watch from the top end and see them all coming for you?
Yeah, we were watching the track to see which way to go, and they fell back a little bit, so we swung it to the right a little bit, and it worked, and I can't be any happier. I couldn't watch the rest of the class, so it's
Well, a great night for you, your team, your hard work definitely paying off. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I can't thank Hazley Machine enough. Chad Mayhill does my tires. It helps me out with cutting them. My crew here, DMDP crew, my family at home that's not here. They couldn't do anything out of them. Scheid for putting on the event. Lucas Oil for being here. This is awesome. Thank you.
Great stuff. Congratulations to him. That tenacity needed to come out here and win inside of this tough category is very difficult. So John Mans up top for the first time in his career. Congrats to him, and Cole Faber with a great hook as well inside of the top 3. And of course, we don't want to forget Ryan Funk. Let's go back down to the podium.
Boy, it seemed like you really had to drive it out there if you wanted to make it on the podium. And tonight, Cole, for you, it looked like you just about lost it on the starting line there.
Yeah, almost. It almost got under the Charger, but it come on top, and it smoothed out, and we made a good pass.
Yeah, a great night for your team because it was a really tough field.
Oh, yes, it was. It was top trucks in the country. It's the place to be if you want to figure out if you're any good or not.
Yeah, congratulations on the podium for you guys.
Thank you. I want to thank Hazley Machine for doing the motor, Scheid Diesel for having the event, and all their sponsors with PPL and Lucas Oil, and got to thank our wives for letting us come down here and do this.
Yeah, great stuff. And you got to love the way they think, man. They want to come take on the best in the country. Let's take a look at the points because they will change up here just a little bit as anticipated. Ranch Hand will jump up on top of the points, followed up by the Scheid diesel truck now just 2 points back. So a 4-point swing. Crosswired stays the same. Penn Farms and War Machine.
To get to the top here is no easy task. And for you, Ryan, it was really about making some changes to your truck. So what did you change after the hook yesterday to try to get yourself to the top?
We studied the data log all day today and made some clutch changes and some preload changes on the front end of the truck, and it panned out today.
Absolutely, and such a big task for you guys. You missed a hometown hook to compete here against the best at Scheid and stepping up on the box for sure.
Yep, we've been coming here for 8 years now since the 2-6 days, and gradually worked our way up, and we're just happy to come to this event every year. We love it. So.
Congratulations to you and your team.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Deer Run Seeds, Golden Harvest, and Unisig Deep Hole Drilling Systems. And of course, we'd like to thank Scheid for having the event every year. We like coming down, so appreciate it.
Great stuff for sure out of the Pro Stock Diesel trucks. Up next will be the Pro Stock Diesel tractors.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. Super Clean, not just clean, super clean. And by Rhino Ag, born to lead.
And we're back here at the Lucas Oil Scheid Diesel Extravaganza, presented by General Tire. Wagler Motorsports Park in Lyons, Indiana is where it's all going down. And as you can see, it's all lit up beautifully here on a beautiful night for truck and tractor pulling. We go into our Pro Stock tractor category.
And this is the top dog if you want to pull a diesel tractor. 10,000 pounds, 680 cubic inches, diesel fuel only. They've got that intercooler out there to help them create between 4,000 and 5,000 horsepower.
Here comes Peter Norton in that beautiful John Deere called Money on Black. Oh my goodness, and what a beautiful looking hook, just hanging that front end right there. That was a thing of beauty for sure. 339 and 69, a massive number there. Comes in here 7th in the points, has 3 podiums on the season, including 1 day ago right here.
And he's got a great setup too. Look at that front end. He gets it up early, keeps it up. 12 to 14 inches off the ground is what you want out of that front axle, because you're looking for that leverage to drive the 10,000 pounds into those rear tires. That's what you need to get the most out of your weight transfer. So a great job by the team of setting it up. I didn't think he had quite the ground speed he needed, though, to make that nice fast pass.
Here's a look at the pulling order here, and as you can see, Brandon Simon there with back-to-back hooks with a loud and loaded and loud and heavy. The loud and heavy, by the way, is our current points leader. So that was exactly how he would want it to go down. However, I'm sure he would rather have at least one tractor between the two to give himself some time to make a few changes. Leslie had a chance to speak with our points leader earlier today.
Loud and Heavy has got the side shields off this afternoon. So, Brandon, after last night, what changes are you deciding to make here since you got everything torn apart?
Oh, we're just going to try to make the fire a little hotter behind it, and I'll try again tonight. I mean, this track wasn't there for us last night. We spend hundreds of thousands making horsepower, and to come to a sandbox and not be able to put it down is kind of depressing, but it is what it is. Everybody got to play on it, so tonight will be a little different ball game, and try some things. I mean, we're on a rookie year, and for the year that we're having, we always said, top fives. Last night was the worst place in the PPL tour this tractor's got all season. So I think we're going to redeem ourselves tonight.
Well, we know we saw at Hillsboro that big old flame coming out of the top, that you're not afraid to tune it up. I mean, with the points lead, are you kind of considering not turning it up as hot to kind of save yourself so that you don't suffer some kind of mechanical?
We saved ourselves last night. Tonight we're not.
Yeah, and they'll have plenty of time to fix it, I guess, before Springfield. Keep in mind, there's only 3 hooks left in the season, so here and then Springfield and Wheatland. My question is, if he couldn't get a hold of the track last night, he's going to turn it up more tonight. How is he going to get a hold of it?
It's a great question. I just don't think horsepower is the answer.
So the loud and loaded will come down through here. A great effort for him for sure. That'll give him a great read, 3:44 and 25, and he'll take over the lead with that one. By the way, that tractor comes in here 4th in the points.
So I guess horsepower is the answer if you can get those 24.5s moving fast enough to move enough dirt underneath the buckboard of the sled to give yourself the ground speed that you need here. I think that one thing that we need to note is that the track is very different than it was 1 day ago as well. And so the track crew spent the better part of the afternoon. There is an afternoon qualifying session here at Scheid. They spent the better part of the afternoon ripping that track completely up, digging down deep. We're talking 20 inches to dig that dirt up to put a good track together for tonight.
And here's a look at the points as we've referred to them a couple of times. Brandon Simon coming up here with a loud and heavy. Next is your points leader, followed up by Darrell Foles, Denny Brown, and then again, Brandon Simon there inside of the top 5. And around out the top 5 is Mickey Shorter and the Buck Eater too. As mentioned before, here comes Brandon Simon, back-to-back hooks here. Comes in with 6 podiums on the season, and 4 of those are wins. General Tire is going to give us a flashback to Hillsboro.
We're going to take you back to this amazing win. And, here's the thing. They've got a great team of people that help them get this set up. Brandon's a great driver out there. And so when you've got a good team, you've got a good driver, you're able to get the tractor set up, you've got eyes that can specifically only watch the track, it really makes a difference for you. And so the Simons have done a great job also, not just driving, but surrounding themselves with people to help them get it done on the track. Oh, it's squirrely.
It might be squirrely, but it threw a number on the board as he drove by the leaderboard, 353 even. Going back to Hillsborough, he finished second and first, won that prestigious belt buckle. He missed it one round to go here. The first time he was outside of the top 5 all season long. Looks like more horsepower was the answer.
I don't think that he knew that the track was going to be this much better on day 2, and I think it's definitely plays in his favor that it is so much better, because if he would have tried to put this much horsepower into the track on day 1, he would have just sat there on the starting line and spun. But when you can put it together with the track that's got some grip, that will take that power that you're willing to put into the ground, it makes a huge difference. And when you're a rookie on the Champions Tour and you're seeing these tracks for the first time, you might have a misstep on day 1 because you've never pulled there before. We saw that a little bit at Goshen, if you can call a 4th and an 8th a misstep there, but that's not his normal, first or second run.
Here comes Russ Yoder and the extra butter. He finished up second at Goshen, has not chased points this year, has not been to all the events, and unfortunately had to use a fair amount of brake there to keep that one between the chalk.
Yeah, he just got his parts too late to hit that first event of the season in Farley, Iowa, and so now just out here trying to have fun and mix it up.
Well, up next will be the Tinker Toy, driven by Kevin Masterson here tonight. Of course, one of the best in the business. This tractor, with his father behind the wheel, won the championship in a tough 2018 season. Also won the championship in a shortened season a year ago, and Leslie had a chance to speak with him.
The Tinker Toy is trying to make a run at the championship with some points to catch up on. And Kevin, I've always loved your style out here. You don't really play conservative at all. And why is that?
Sometimes you got to take a chance.
But even when you're in the running for the points?
Well, it's just how it is. Sometimes you got to roll the dice and go on with it.
And we see you do that all the time, and it usually yields dividends for you. And so are you just a little bit more aggressive than most people?
I make a lot of hero zero moves.
And I guess that's one way of looking at it. He does love to go for it, though, and that's always exciting to watch.
A man of few words, but the wheels are always turning for sure.
And you can watch the sidewalls of those huge rear tires just squat and wrinkle up there, looking for some grip. 337 and 52 will put him in 4th place as it stands right now.
And those 24.5-inch tires have an aggressive edge on them, so as they're squatting down, they're getting a wider footprint to dig into the track, and that's one of the strategies that guys use. And Kevin, for a while, was a person that utilized wheel weights on his tractor, and he kind of puts them on and takes them off periodically at events to try to dig those tires in a little harder to gain some ground.
There's a look at your top 3 with some wicked good tractors yet to come. The Lucas Oil Scheid Diesel Extravaganza, presented by General Tires, where all the action is out under the lights here in Lyons, Indiana. Covering the Pro Stock Tractor category here. Mickey Shorter with the Buck Eater 2 is coming up here next. Comes in here 5th in the points. Oh, man, and I'm not sure if it broke or if he got out of the throttle, tapped the brakes, whatever it was. It landed hard on the front end, ripped off the right front, and certainly not the effort that he was looking for here tonight.
It looked like as that front end really started to elevate, he got super aggressive on the brake, and when it made that sharp turn, it just took that dive to the right-hand side. So just a little too aggressive on the brake and a little less throttle out there, just combined for that disaster.
This Red International, known as the Billet Binder with Jack Mays behind the wheel, was second one night ago. in that Protect the Harvest transfer box, slammed the front of the sled right there. He puts 3:46 and 12 on the board. A great effort to jump up into second place yet again.
These numbers are just amazing, and you wouldn't normally see numbers like this at a tractor pull, but the blessing of being out here at Lions is that it is a super long track, and they've actually worked the track up that far out so that they can extend the distances out for the tractors. Normally, we're looking at a full pull mark or your leader somewhere between 300 and 310 because most facilities are built for that. This facility is built for a long track, and so they've actually worked up that ground at the end, and they're able to extend those distances out and let these guys have that super fast, long run.
Up next will be Tim Stone, and the Rolling Stone unfortunately has not made all of the hooks here this season. He is, however, a seasoned veteran. That's a great tractor for sure, and he gives it a good effort at 318 and 70.
And he was really trying to find it using that cross-track method where he started over there on the right-hand side, pointed it at the left side of the track, trying to get a different path and gain some new ground.
Well, up next will be Patrick Gentry driving the River Rat. Of course, a tractor that's campaigned by the Mastersons for so many years. It's as good as they come, and Leslie had a chance to speak to him.
Pulling runs deep for Patrick Gentry. So what's kind of your history with pulling?
Grew up just about 15 miles away from the Masterson family. My family growing up never missed a Louisville Farm Machinery show, local pulls throughout the counties. Growing up watching the legends, I've been a pulling fan all my life. So it's just been in my blood to go pulling. I farm myself, growing up on tractors, and that's my background on the pulling. I've never pulled before till last weekend.
Which is pretty phenomenal, and it's a little bit of a contrast because you have red tractors at home too.
Yes, even Kevin has said, I'm red as red comes.
But for you to step on the tractor, you've been coming with the Mastersons for the last 2 years. What kind of modifications did you have to make, and how did that kind of come to fruition?
Yeah, it started out just coming out, helping Kevin and Don, and such a history of their pulling, throughout the years. Just to be with them was just a thrill for any fan. And then I started helping in the shop, working on things, and then it was brought up that maybe sometime I'd get the chance to get on the seat. So the only thing we really had to do to make this happen for me, since I was born without a right hand, is Josh Miley and Kevin and I got together this winter, came up with a design for a cup to fit on the throttle handle that Kevin uses all the time. And we based it upon a red Solo cup. It tapers, it fits perfect, and that's the only thing we had to do different to the tractor, because we can pull a pin, Kevin can drive it like he did last night or any other night. If it's my turn, slide it in and we're ready to go.
How exciting was it to take that first pass?
My goal and ambition was setting on this iconic tractor from the Masterson family was just to be able to light it, go down the track, and do good for the family. And I didn't know for several minutes after my run that I was even in first place. Just an honor to sit on this and do what I did. It still hasn't truly sunk in my accomplishments, but the pullers that have reached out to me, the fans, it's an amazing feeling, and so glad to be here tonight.
And boy, he did a great job when he was driving as well, up on top of the box. This is a great tractor for sure, and has to be exciting for him to watch his heroes all along the way and now be a huge and very successful part of this team. And a solid effort here late in the category, 3:42 and 22 for Patrick Gentry.
It's really impressive how quickly he's adjusted to pulling a pro stock tractor. And I mean, this isn't like getting on an entry-level tractor pulling machine. I mean, this is the upper echelon of pulling. You've got a phenomenal tractor and a program that the Mastersons have built. They're on the dyno all the time. And for him to come out here and to be able to adjust and to pull this strong with this group, He's really got the gift.
We continue on here. Justin Wagler coming up here next with a tractor called the Real Deer. Has been on the tour for many, many years. Finished up in second place on day number 2 at Hillsboro.
And he said that was the best second place he's ever had because the tractor finally ran well for him.
He just missed the top 5 one day ago here at Lyons, and tonight we'll go 3:33 and 61, a very respectable number.
And the distances are just huge here in this category. For you to say that that's respectable and not our leader, but here is a look at our top 3 so far. Can anybody unseed Brandon Simon out there on the top spot?
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by K&N, filtration for the future. Line X, this is Line X country. And by Lucas Oil, keep that engine alive.
And we're back here at the Lucas Oil Scheid Diesel Extravaganza presented by General Tire with just one tractor yet to go inside of the Pro Stock category. It will be a very tough Denny Brown with the green with Envy machine. Comes in here third in the points. 4 podiums. He's a tough player. Did grab a win a little bit earlier this season, including one night ago. He could come out here and steal it all, but he's going to miss it by just a little bit at 3:38 and 22, and that'll wrap things up here with the Pro Stock category.
You could really tell those Growler bars punishing the top end of the track as he did kind of a boot scoot boogie all the way out to the end.
So there's a look at the final order with Brandon Simon up top. Once again, the points leader pads that points lead with another 50. Jack Mays and the Billet Binder back-to-back second-place efforts out of that international. What a great job. And then Brandon Simon once again to round out the top 3. Let's go down to the podium.
Double podiums tonight. It's the top spot and third tonight for you, Brandon. I felt a little bit when I saw those runs like you maybe had something to prove tonight.
Yeah, we had to redeem ourselves from last night. That was the worst we did all year. We just went back to the drawing board, and we knew it works, and we knew kind of early, and they worked on the track a lot better tonight. It wasn't near the track it was last night, and we went back to the old setup, and everything came together for us. We let the one red one get in there for you, all you fans, but we couldn't do it without my brother. His 2 boys came, and Brooks' birthday today, so I mean, Jordan for always standing behind us and making sure everything's good and everybody back home. And, I mean, we got a crew, and Heartland Lubricants for all their support, and Sepico Lubricants and Simon's Trucking and Cattle, and there's somebody looking down on us today.
And, of course, making reference to his father, who was so talented out here on the tour. There's a look at the points. Now a 44-point spread over second place. And the Tinker Toy green with Envy still there in third with Denny Brown. Brandon Simon, his second tractor remains in fourth, and followed up with Peter Norton inside of the top 5.
Double podiums this weekend, and talk about consistency, which is something I don't normally like to talk about, but you guys have the Billet Binder on a roll.
Yeah, we're feeling really good about the way she's running right now. I think we've finally got all the kinks worked out, hopefully. So.
But are you worried that maybe you're running it too hard and you could be pressing on that top edge, or have you found the happy medium?
No, I think we got it in a pretty good spot. I don't think she's running too hard.
Yeah, great weekend for your team. You got to leave here on that long trip back home pretty satisfied.
Yep, and we couldn't have done it without the help from Rodney at DNR Pulling and Jim and Steve Weimers. And, Eric and John Burton back at home, and my dad and Simon with me, and a lot of other people I'm probably forgetting, but without them, we wouldn't be up here right now.
Never miss a hook. Go to propulling.com/set reminder to add all of the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League airings to your personal calendar. Receive a calendar reminder minutes before each event airs.
It's been a great time coming out here with the Scheid Diesel Extravaganza. Always is, and we really look forward to it every season. Hope you enjoyed all the great action. For the latest in news, go to ProPulling.com. For Leslie Mears, I'm Ken Stout. Thanks for watching the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League.